Nadine. I'm out here at the petting zoo having a good time, also making a few extra bucks out here as well.
For 32 years, Tom Sherry's been a staple in the inland Northwest.
Sure, he's the weather guy, our chief meteorologist. But over the years, Tom has been so much more.
It is Friday night. It is time for Tom's Tailgate.
He's been in our homes, our classrooms, and in our hearts.
Can I have your autograph, Mr.
Well,
Sherry?
sure.
He celebrates the best of our communities
And brings us together when it matters most.
Thank you to everyone who donated and volunteered at Tom's Turkey Drive.
Sure, he's a weather expert, but to us, he is so much more.
Not in love anymore.
Is that fire? Turn around.
Oh, your stuff's on fire, Tom.
What? Oh.
He can be silly.
And a serious, trustworthy source when we need it. Tonight, we dig into the archives to celebrate Tom Sherry.
Marianne!
We learn more about his life behind the scenes
His family.
and his path from the new weather guy to a KREM 2 legend.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this KREM 2 special celebrating the one and only Tom Sherry.
There he is.
We're going to be honest. Tom thought that it was a little ridiculous when we told him that we were planning an entire hour-long show dedicated just to him. The truth is, though, it was hard to keep this to just an hour because there is so much to highlight out of an incredible 32-year career here at KREM 2.
We'll let the viewer decide.
No, this is what we're doing. And tonight it is all about celebrating Tom Sherry and all he has done for us here in the inland Northwest.
Tom's journey started in Southern California. He grew up in a Catholic family. He was actually an altar boy. And perhaps he caught the news bug early as a young boy running paper routes with his brother. There he is right there. I spoke with Tom's brothers and sister about watching his career take off.
It was the late 70s and long before he was the most beloved weatherman in the inland Northwest that Tom Sherry first arrived in Spokane. That's him with the long hair and mustache. After graduating high school in Southern California, Tom made the trip north to live with his brother Michael, who was going to Gonzaga. Looking back, his older siblings say they are not at all surprised that Tom would eventually pursue a career in broadcasting.
Are you surprised by his career path at all?
Not really. When he was a teenager, he was into CB radios, and he loved to talk.
I remember Tommy, my little brother, on his CB radio, and he could definitely talk, and he was definitely funny. He's probably the funniest of all of us.
I wasn't surprised. I knew he'd find a niche somewhere.
Tom took his gift of gab and humor from the CB radio to his first broadcast job in radio. In 1981, he landed a job with KDRK-FM in Spokane, where he'd eventually become the program chief.
He stumbled onto you guys and worked his way up from the bottom. I mean, he started with nothing. Yeah, we're real proud of him.
With a high of 38, a low tonight of about 23.
It wasn't until 1990 that Tom made the jump from radio to KREM TV. It didn't take long before he was the evening meteorologist, bringing his larger-than-life personality to an even bigger audience. And that audience embraced Tom. All the while, his older brother says he looked on with pride.
I think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. I think it's well-deserved.
But I think he just felt a loyalty to Spokane. And he just loved it there.
Beyond forecasting, Tom's had an equally important impact on the community through Tom's Turkey Drive, the single largest food drive in the inland Northwest, delivering 11,000 Thanksgiving meals to people who might otherwise not have one.
What do you make of it that this event that bears your brother's name is so successful and fills such a big need in our community?
I think it's quite a legacy for a young man to leave behind. Never in his wildest dreams did he think that he'd have this kind of an impact, but I think it's pretty tremendous. The Sherry name is known.
The Sherry name is known. Tom's been voted the best TV weathercaster 26 years in a row and counting in the Inlander newspaper's Best Of issue. Michael says their father passed away before Tom's success in radio and TV, but there was no doubt he's been tuned in the last 3 decades as his youngest child made his mark on Spokane.
He would be probably the most blown away with Tom, but I know he's proud of all 4 of us.
It's been a heck of a run, Tom. We are all just thankful we had the chance to go along for the ride. From your family to your colleagues to the leagues of viewers at home, congratulations on an amazing career.
Do a little more practice.
May the next chapter be filled with just as much fun and far fewer deadlines.
I don't know what to say.
Tommy, I'd like to congratulate you big time. Hopefully, I will see you in Arizona. We can visit Patrick in Tucson, and hopefully we can do a little bit more skiing. I wish I was there to celebrate. My very, very best to you.
Tom, I got to say, it was fun to, for me, it was the first time I met your siblings, aside from your sister. I met her once before.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah, it was fun to talk with them and hear the stories about when you were a kid.
Yeah, it's Michael, the one that was just talking.
Sure.
Growing up, he was like the absolute best big brother.
Yeah.
Pat was already off and running at that time. Margaret was really off and running because we're 4 years apart. And so Mike really took me under his wing and made sure I got to do everything with him and the older kids. So it was great. And then once I became an adult, it was Pat and Linda who kept us together as adults. They were the ones that really stepped up, made sure we always got together every year, and they're such great entertainers, and so I'm very
Well, it is certainly clear that they are all proud of you, and I love when your sister said that when you were first starting out, she held the phone up to the radio and TV so your parents could hear you broadcast.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, my dad was 50 when I was born, and my mom was 41, that whole Irish Catholic thing. And so, you know, when I graduated high school, he was 68. So he was just always older, so I knew he wasn't going to be around. You know, he never got to see my kids, so that's always sad.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, obviously they're very, very proud of you.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, for years, Tom has served as our chief meteorologist, right? But there was no title more important to him than being a dad. He raised 2 boys while balancing a late shift at the station and hosting several community events every year.
So often by his side was his son, Little Mike, who is named after Tom's brother, Mike. I had a chance to sit down and talk with Mike about growing up here in Spokane.
I think Tom Sherry, that's just the name everybody knows him as Tom Sherry. I always knew him as Dad.
What was it like for you kind of watching your dad become the guy that everyone in town knew and loved?
Look at this young Bulldog fan right here.
Some of my fondest memories of seeing how the community of Spokane was so connected to him. Whenever we would go to Hoop Fest,
Doomsday Hill,
or Bloomsday, when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, I didn't know any better at the time. I didn't know his celebrity status. But how many people would come up to him and start asking him questions or ask about the weather or just to say hi to him. And I'm like, I mean, he's just Dad. Like, why is he so famous? I didn't get it at the time.
How cool is it for you to also have seen, you know, some of the great impacts he's had on this community?
It is really cool. And, you know, Spokane is home, even though I'm not there right now. Denver is my current home, but every time I go back to visit, I bring my fiance with me. People see us out with Tom Sherry, and then it's funny for my fiance to see how the community gravitates towards him and talks to him and how they talk to him. And she had no idea of much of an impact that he has in Spokane.
It wouldn't happen without great volunteers. Look at this.
Because of who he was and his role on TV.
Tom Sherry, and you were right, Tom.
It meant that he worked evenings. And he always said that one of his biggest regrets was that he never really got to have dinners with you and your brother throughout most of your childhood. Did you know that is one of his regrets?
Yeah, I think that it came out a little bit later when we got a little bit older. The times I fondly remembered him making the dinners the most were the times where I was struggling in school to make sure that I was getting my math down. And then we'd actually sit there and we'd both struggle and we'd both be looking on the back of the book at answers. So that was kind of fun.
Boys, this is how it's done.
It was a sacrifice that he had to make to do what he needed to do for us, for himself, for his career, obviously for the community of Spokane. But he made a point every morning to try to drive us to school. And I thought that was pretty cool.
You mentioned Tom's turkey drive. What do you remember as you kind of watched that grow year after year into this amazing thing that it is now?
I remember going with him to Rosars on a few trips. We'd be making rounds, going to different Rosars across the city. You know, you didn't really feel the impact when you were younger, but now older, getting older and getting to see a lot more of it's making this huge impact in Second Harvest Food Bank. It is incredible to see.
What do you want him to know about having so many years in this community?
I would just say Dad, I love you. Congratulations on your many accomplishments. I want you to enjoy yourself, have fun. Don't be afraid to come up and visit us in Denver. We got plenty of ski trips coming, and we're looking forward to making many trips back during the summer to come visit you in Spokane. Congratulations, and job well done, and time to get some rest.
Wow, that's great. What a great, great. I have two great boys.
Yes, you do.
Mike and I
stuff.
just tended to do more stuff together.
They're so proud of you, and they were so proud of you even before they even realized who Tom Sherry was out in the community. They thought you were the best dad.
Wow, they were the best kids. It was great. That was interesting that you had asked that question, because that really was one of my biggest regrets. Is you know, everybody who works a swing shift job knows what I'm talking about. But it was only weekends that I was able to have dinner because I lived about a half hour away from the station.
It's funny how you mentioned everyone referred to you as Tom Sherry. My kids still refer to you as Tom and Sherry.
One full name. Yeah.
How's Tom and Sherry doing? I'm like, well, it's Tom Sherry. Oh, he's doing great.
Ronald McDonald, Tom Sherry.
Very similar.
Almost, yeah. But interesting and great that he recalled the fact that you would make an effort to come home and help him with his homework, right?
He had been put into an upper level math class, and I kind of pushed for him to get in there because I really believed in the teacher. And I had a friend of mine, that another adult woman, I said, well, what if he only can get C's in this class? And she says, look, if he gets D's in that class, it will be better than for him in this other one, because that teacher is so good.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't get that. He got much better grades than that. But, you know, so I thought, okay, but I didn't want to just throw him in there, so I wanted to go home and help him. So I'd drive home, you know, the half hour, do the deal, not get a dinner break, obviously, help him with that till he got going, and then he's brilliant at it now. So
well, you did all the right things because it made an impact.
Yeah, well, you know, he deserves it, right?
Yes,
so that was really lovely to hear all that.
That's awesome.
And C's get degrees, Tom.
That's Mike's line. I was like,
Words
I'm not sure that's a good idea, but he did much better than that. But yeah, he didn't tell me that one time when I was writing a check for college.
Again, you did all the things right.
Yeah.
You know, it is the best of what we do here at KREM 2 and the best of who we are in the Inland Northwest.
Tom's Turkey Drive is one of the largest holiday events that brings the community together. At the center of it, Tom Sherry.
I also really do like being known as the guy who is Tom of Tom's Turkey Drive. That makes me feel very good. I think that Tom's Turkey Drive and being involved with Second Harvest is probably the greatest thing I have ever done on television.
All right, take a look at all the amazing messages that we are getting right now, just celebrating all things Tom Sherry, saying they're happy for you, but sad. Life in Spokane won't be the same without you, Tom. So please keep sending us these well wishes. You can text them to us at 509-448-2000. And a lot of them, of course, remembering you most perhaps for Tom's Turkey Drive. So we want to send things over now to Laura Papetti as we talk about Tom and Tom's Turkey Drive.
That's right, Wendy. So many of those messages have been about Tom's Turkey Drive. When you think of Tom Sherry, you likely think of Tom's Turkey Drive. For over 2 decades, the Thanksgiving event has fed our souls in our community. It is the largest turkey drive in the Inland Northwest and a holiday tradition for thousands of people, both those giving and receiving. I've had the privilege of working with Tom on the event for many, many years and wanted to share a look back and a look at our plans moving forward.
Now that we've been doing it over 2 decades, the stories that I get are amazing. And I've told a few of them, but it's, you know, they almost make me, I guess the older I get, they almost make me cry.
How you doing, my friend?
We all need sustenance. We all have, it's a basic need that we have to have food. Tom's Turkey Drive is food and an emotional day.
If you guys didn't do this, I don't know how I would survive.
Tom's Turkey Drive is about providing food, but also about fostering a feeling of connection.
Everybody just helps everybody.
For the people who donate, it's feelings of compassion and tradition.
Thank you for doing this.
For those who receive, it's grateful and kind.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate the help.
And for Tom Sherry, it's a namesake.
Thank you, Tom.
It is a legacy.
It's just such a wonderful, wonderful way to be human and be kind. And it's, it's the best thing I've ever been involved with.
When people talk about Tom's Turkey Drive, they often focus on the numbers. 11,000 meals a year, 50,000 people.
It really helps a lot when you don't have a lot of money.
Eating a Thanksgiving dinner. 22 years of community. All good numbers. But as always, the numbers tell only a fraction of the story. We recently sat down with Tom to talk turkey, to take us back in time and understand how a holiday food drive has become a Northwest institution.
We just thought, well, can we just knock this thing out in one weekend?
And that was the plan. One weekend to provide a few hundred meals. It was 1999. The Backstreet Boys were big. Star Wars was #1. And it was the beginning of everyone's favorite weatherman reaching beyond the maps and encouraging everyone to join in.
But it was at a price point that people could afford. You know, that not just heavy hitters, not rich people could just support, but almost every working person could afford $20 to buy a Thanksgiving meal for somebody.
For many of us in the Inland Northwest, Tom's Turkey Drive has grown to be part of our holiday DNA. It's not only what we do, but who we are.
Long-time supporters of Tom's
That's
Turkey
especially
Drive.
true for Zach and Eric Edge. The Cheney teens have collected pennies and brought them to Tom's Turkey Drive since they were little.
Our parents just wanted to instill in us the spirit of giving.
It's nice to give back to people that need it.
And they would have like a baggie full of their change that they had been saving from, I don't know, what chores they did or Christmas gifts. And there'd be some paper money in there too. They grew up with them.
Little boys becoming young men, and Tom Sherry at the center.
At the end of the day, you're contributing to something far more bigger than yourself. And no matter if it's 1 penny or thousands of dollars, it doesn't matter. Just as long as you're giving something.
Thank you. I came to see you. I didn't know you'd be here.
I loved when people would just spontaneously hug me. I mean, I've been kissed by more ladies, young and old, and it's fabulous. They just plan a big one right here, you know?
Have a blessed. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Connection has led to a lifetime of helping feed our friends and our neighbors.
It means we're having Thanksgiving because we wouldn't have had the food at this time.
It has truly gone beyond a day or even a weekend and outlasted bad weather, economic downturns, and even a worldwide pandemic. Tom's Turkey Drive is the best of who we are and a tradition that has marked the years with a positive effort.
Thank you very, very much for giving over the years.
It is a legacy.
Wow.
Impressive, my friend.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody. This is a partnership right here. Laura's been with it from the day one.
Well, I started very young, Tom, very young. I was 6.
I was 11. But no, seriously, I love, it's Tom's Turkey Drive has a great, sound to it, right? Alliteration. But Laura Papetti is the one that had the vision even more than mine, and you interface with all of the agencies that we need to cooperate with this, and really on Turkey Drive Day, I'll be in front of the camera, and you're certainly comfortable in front of the camera, but on that weekend you're not. You're back there with this list of like who's coming up next. We have a donation, and then you're letting me know what the bag count is and how much money we've raised so far, and how many more meals we need to sell to get to the 11,000. And so I'm very thankful to you, and I'm just want people out there to know all that you do in our community.
Well, I love that. And we wanted to let everyone know, because it has been our #1 question, will Tom's Turkey Drive go on?
Absolutely.
It will not only go on, but Tom will be here with us celebrating the event. And we have a little surprise for you, Tom.
Oh.
You talked about Zach and Eric.
I love Zach and Eric.
2 young boys that came in who have grown up on Tom's Turkey Drive. We sort of feel like we've grown up with them.
I love the parents as well.
The parents are amazing.
Oh my gosh,
they're bringing them in. The parents have brought them in for Tom's Turkey Drive.
Who are these kids? Where are the little kids that I know? I saw both of you come in here, wheel around so we can see your faces. I saw you pre-COVID and you pre-COVID at Gonzaga Prep. Yeah. Are you still a bullpup?
Yes.
Oh my! What year are you in now?
Junior.
Junior, and you were still going to junior high or middle school, I guess we call it. And you're a bullpup too. Mm-hmm. Okay, so junior and
freshman.
Oh my gosh.
So for the viewers, because obviously we know Zach and Eric. This is Zach and Eric.
Hey, they're the family. I love your family.
They would bring them in when they were this big in the freezing cold, before school, after school, always.
Aren't you the best to do this? Thank you.
They came to say happy retirement.
It was just great. Their dad would say, hey, they just got some money here and they want to help out, and you know. You were doing that Jesuit thing before the Jesuit school. God love you. And I just can't believe what men you are now. Again, we started, I was 11.
Yes, we were all very small.
But how old were you when we were doing this? When you first came in for the very first time?
4
You're the
and
little
6.
brother.
Yeah.
What 4 and 6? That's about
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Gosh. Well, I couldn't be more proud of you guys and happier for you and thankful. All the meals they have bought for people. Hundreds of meals. That's just amazing. I love it. Okay, you guys. Zach and Eric right
Zach
here,
and
right?
Eric.
Okay. I'm glad that we're back. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad school's going good for you guys. I look forward to seeing the future of what you guys are going to do. And you're the best of the best, and thank you for being so great for so long. I love you guys. Well done. Well done.
All right, I love that you're rocking the Bullpup Pride.
Yeah, thank you.
That was
Well
a shout out for his school and for Tom. Okay, we're going to send it back over, because we're going to visit a little bit, send it back over to Mark and Whitney, and they're going to continue to catch us up.
Thank you, Laura. In honor of Tom's retirement, the bosses let us sneak out of the newsroom for happy hour.
Yeah, we talked about all things Spokane and Tom's message for the community. That's coming up next.
We're going to town now. Okay, let's do the weather real quick, shall we? I wonder if I can. It's like riding a bull, but I like it. It feels good. It feels really good, Paul. You know, Mark spends all his money on the CrossFit, but I'm actually working out harder than him, aren't I?
Absolutely, yes, I would say so. It looks like you are, anyways.
How long do people normally stay in the chair?
Most of the settings are about 15 minutes, so you still have another 12 minutes to go, sir.
I'm working up a sweat.
One of my favorite Tom memories there, right?
Paul was a good sport.
The day before Bloomsday?
That's the Bloomsday trade show, and I was just trying to find something, and I saw this chair, and it said it was an exercise chair. You could lay down and you exercise while you're watching television. I'm like, I'm doing that. But it really just went, whoa.
Yeah. It's on YouTube if you search it. It's fantastic.
It took me by surprise, and then, of course, I said before, our director, Jim Kieberts, normally when we go to weather, as you well know, you just see the weather graphics. We don't see you guys. And Jim Kieberts saw that it was how goofy it was, so he would just drop out of the weather graphics, show me. I didn't know that. And then he would show the you guys back here in the studio. I think it was Jane McCarthy was in there. Sure. And I could hear the laughter, so I think, oh, are they seeing them? But by that time, I was just trying to hang on.
And we were all in the newsroom just doubled over in laughter watching it happen.
It just stumbled into that. Paul, thank you very much for that. That was lovely.
Great stuff. Okay. Well, before tonight, Tom Whitney and I got to spend some time outside of work together, out of the newsroom.
Yeah, we got to spend a little time reminiscing at Casper Fry in the Perry District. And Tom, you had a chance to talk about some of your favorite things, of course, about living here in Spokane.
If you've ever been out on the town with Tom Sherry, it's like being out with Elvis.
Seriously?
Like,
isn't that great?
Yeah.
I mean, I love them.
Right.
You know, I just feel like I think they feel super comfortable talking to me. So, you know, it's great. It's really neat. It's fun to be able to go to a place, not being a star or anything like that or a showboat, but it's just great when you walk and they're like, hey, it's like Norm.
Right.
Well, that's the thing about you that has been so special. It is real. Like, you really do love this community. It's not fake. None of this has been manufactured where it's just for the camera. You don't turn it off and on. Like, who we see every single day, that's who you really are. And that's why it's such a privilege.
Well, I'm an acquired taste, and I thank you for that. Yeah, it's you know, this is just a fabulous place to live, and you know, and I've said this before and a couple of other times, but I think sometimes when people grow up here, it takes them to move away and come back to get it.
And I think that for people who move in here, move to this town, I moved here when I was 18 with the idea of just moving on. But you get just how special this place is. I mean, everything from the tap water, which is sweet and tasty from our beautiful aquifer. You know, we don't buy bottled water at our house. It's like, to the skiing, to the lakes. I'm big into boating. Our schools,
So you're not leaving, right? Like once you retire, you're going to still. We're still
Oh
gonna
yeah,
see
I'm
you,
Spokane,
right?
Spokane boy. Yeah, I probably am going to snowbird a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I've made no secret about that. I grew up in Southern California, and there is. I'm not going to California, but I grew up in Southern California, and I really do appreciate I'm solar powered. I do appreciate a blue sky and sunshine. I snow ski, I ice skate, I cross country skied, I snowshoe. I just really want to. I don't want to do that as much anymore. I would prefer to,
Spend more time in flip-flops and shorts.
Exactly, and bike ride, and play a little pickleball, and I've got a terrible golf game. I play like once a year, but I'm trying to play a lot more. I just want to be a lot more active. I'll still do lots of community stuff. I'm hoping to do lots more auctions for charities and nonprofits, charities and benefits, and of course Turkey Drive. Be involved with that, which is lovely that KREM is letting me come back, because that would never go away. Even if Tom wasn't part of it, KREM is committed to Turkey Drive. And you guys did
It will always be Tom's Turkey Drive. How cool is it, though, for you to see what Spokane is becoming?
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen a lot of that growth.
I have. I thought it was great in 1978 when I moved here. I love that a lot of the events that are big here are homegrown.
Right.
Yeah.
Hoop Fest. You get a bunch of crazy guys. Bloomsday. Yeah. It just seems like the things that work to me that I've seen are the ones that are thought of by just people sitting around a table.
Yep.
And then goes to the community. You think this will work?
Right.
We're going to do it if you want to join in. We've got some courts set up if you want to come down, and then it just. And I love that. And that's who we are.
Yes, we are. Coming up next, a little more about Tom's next chapter after retirement, and it has to do with some of these little ones right here.
And as we head to break, Tom has been a staple on the Bloomsday route for several years. There he is right there. He got through the course with a smile and joined the community for one of its iconic events. So here's a goodbye from Bloomsday founder and longtime president, Don Cardall.
Tom, I want to thank you for your early support of Bloomsday and your support over the years. You've been great. It's always fun to hear you on the news, and have a great retirement.
TS, what a ride you've had. What an impact you've had. Let's go right off into the sunset. Enjoy our family and our friends. You've worked hard, and it's your turn. Have fun.
Aww. Well, that, of course, is your wife, Candy, and the grandkids also kind of being a big factor in this decision that you've made to kind of spend more time at home.
Yeah, here is a message from some of the grandkids about Tom's next chapter.
1, 2, 3. What's your favorite thing to do with Tom Sherry?
Go to the park and play football.
Is he good at football?
I'm better at fishing than him.
So what do you want to say, Ed?
No, having another.
Who's having another baby?
Tell me that Tom's getting retired and becoming old, and he gets to eat like junk food.
Lights, camera, action.
What's better at football or the weather?
Probably the weather. Yeah, definitely.
What's your favorite thing to do?
Oh, yeah. I love doing the Tom Belch at the park.
They grow up so fast. It's really more being able to do stuff in the middle of the week. You can do what you want to do. You can go where you want to go, so that's really something we're looking forward to. And we're looking forward to, we have these 3 in Spokane, but we have 7 of them. And Mike Sherry's getting married, so there's more babies coming at some point, I'm sure. So we're looking forward to getting to go see the family.
Congratulations, this is your new wife. Enjoy retirement.
Wow.
That's so great.
You know, I'm the luckiest man. Those are Candy's grandchildren. And I've married into this thing, and they have been nothing but welcoming to me. And it's just, I mean, my son's getting married this September, so we hope there's some grandchildren with the last name of Sherry.
No pressure, Mike.
Yeah, no, a little bit. Having said that, though, it's just unbelievable how they have just. I tell you, they have just welcomed me, everyone in the family.
Well, that's fantastic.
It is unbelievable.
Well, you have a way with people that makes
Well, you know, you rise to the occasion, and they're up there. So you, they're beautiful people, and I love it, and it's amazing. It's just really amazing.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful and grateful.
You need to tell them, by the way, about your career at the Holy Redeemers in middle school for flag football, right?
That's exactly
They were
right.
talking about football.
I don't know if you knew that.
I don't know how good you were.
It was 8-man football. We had 8 people in the classroom, 8 boys.
That's right.
And I started.
And you were a starter. That's right. Okay, well, he may be the most famous golden retriever to ever live in the inland Northwest. Coming up, we look back at some memories with Tom and Doppler.
I remember saying something, honey, I love you. And they took a reaction shot of you guys, or I asked you guys a question. Hey, you guys comfortable over there? And Mark had his feet up on his big, Mark's, what are you, 6'2", 3? 6'2". Big feet up there, on the coffee table, relaxing and looking at the phone because, he's got that time off. And then he answers the question, and then they come back to me, and I just thought, with those feet, they look huge on camera. So I say to Jim, our director, can we do that one more time? And so there's Mark, and I go, look at the size of those feet on that guy. How big are those feet? And he goes,
those are 12.
And then they come back on me. I'm not 6'2".
Almost.
Not even close. And I go, coming in at 8.5. And for other people to know, Whitney's a petite woman, so this is fair for you. No one would ever call me a petite man. But when we stand next to him, we actually have to be we're on risers, we're on blocks, because otherwise it's Mark, and Whitney, and Tom. And it would be weird for the audience. Not to mention it's hard on our neck.
One of so many fun times and jokes that we have. Just one of a million.
I will miss the commercial breaks with you guys the most.
Yeah. Right.
Because there's a lot of laughter, and sometimes there's very dark news, and so we try to give it a little bit of a break.
Cheer each other up a bit.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. It's the unscripted moments that are the most fun for me.
Absolutely.
Right?
No
me
question
too.
about that.
All right.
I am so thankful to have worked with somebody whose gift is to make others feel better about themselves.
She's not wrong there. Well, she shared the anchor desk with Tom for 2 decades. When we come back, a special message from Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward.
Happy, happy retirement, Tommy Berger. Every time we get together, I remind you that you are living your best life. But now that you're going to retire, I'm going to correct that, and I think you're about to live an even better life. I just want to tell you how thankful I am for the nearly 20 years that we worked together. You were a wonderful colleague and friend. I started my work day every day seeking you out as we had a great conversation and updated each other on just life and family, and I really treasure those moments together. I am so thankful to have worked with somebody whose gift is to make others feel better about themselves. And you've always done that to the people that you work with and to the people who watch you every night and to our community. And your impact on our community is so incredible. So thank you for all of that. We need more people like you in this world.
Wow.
That's the truth.
So
really
true.
beautiful.
And she's right.
She was, the best. She was well, you guys are all friends with her too, but best news anchor, and she was just fabulous, and I love her. And
it was clear it was a great partnership, but also that you were friends, which is special.
Well, Charles used to say something that he said that even if we had weird, because we've been bought and sold a few times, and all that, even if things were going weird at the upper, and we'd be like, hey, we get out here and we do it for the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
It really was that. We get out here and we do it for them.
Yep.
And we were like, okay.
Well, it worked.
So that's what we're doing. Yeah.
By the way, I start my day the same way that Nadine did, coming here and talking to Tom, updating about
and I'm
life,
so
right?
glad because I get more out of it than you guys get out of it. But I do.
Yeah.
It helps elevate me too. So that's really pretty. Really
They're telling
nice.
us we got to move on. It's no question how much of a staple Tom has been in the Spokane community. Many inland Northwesterners grew up watching him.
Yeah, in fact, maybe he even visited your classroom. And he would always bring one important thing with him. That would be the trusted weather dog, Doppler.
KREM 2 is bringing the great outdoors into the classroom. Hello, I'm KREM 2 broadcast meteorologist Tom Sherry, and I'm proud to say that the Storm Team SchoolNet is growing. We've set up more weather stations in schools across the inland Northwest. So while the students learn about meteorology, math, and science, you receive weather information from your neighborhood, a better education for our children, and a more accurate forecast for you.
And I would go out to those schools and do a little weather presentation. Then it evolved to where I got Doppler the weather dog, and I'd like to think I'm the only one that had a dog on the air in Spokane. Maybe somebody remembers way back when, but I had Doppler, and that was early on in my career. And he was our family dog, and my children were only 4 and 2 at home, and that puppy, and I had to take him through so many dog training classes, because he had to be the dog to go these places. And he's a golden retriever, and he grew up to be huge. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? You're all thinking, what are we doing with this dog here? And I'd put a biscuit on his nose, and the kids would all look. And I go, Doppler, if you think that science, is super important, don't you eat this. You leave it. That was the command, leave it. With this biscuit on his nose, and then I'd say, if you think we're going to make lots of new friends here at this school, go ahead and take it. The kids were all... And then he was the kind of dog that they would just come up and just maul. I mean, just climb on. And he's just like... He was absolutely the best dog. He was a great one. 12 years and 1 month. That's great. He was such a good dog.
What a good dog.
He was.
Hey, he has seen it all, and Tom has helped this community pull through. We've got to look back at some of the most significant weather events Tom has covered over the years after the break.
Tom, you just couldn't leave without giving us one snow before you go. Appreciate all you've been for this community, the Spokane area. Go Eagles.
Wow.
I love that.
Eastern Washington head football coach Aaron Best right there, Tom.
Go Eagles. My son is an Eagle.
There we go.
So I'm all about the Eagles.
Yeah. And obviously appropriate that he shot that when it was snowing and blowing outside.
Sorry.
Yeah, Tom, by the way, has been a weather expert for 32 years. So when a major weather hits the inland Northwest, Tom is the trusted source to get our communities through it.
So Jeremy Legoo highlights now some of the major weather events that Tom has both endured himself and covered for our community.
For more than 30 years, Tom Sherry has brought us the weather, and frequently a smile and a laugh or two. But when the weather got serious, so did Tom. And that meant guiding us through everything from an epic ice storm to a historic heat wave. November 19th, 1996. It's a date that's likely frozen into the memory of any longtime resident.
So Ice Storm 96 was my first real big weather event as the chief meteorologist.
More than 1.5 inches of freezing rain fell, coating power lines, trees, and roads.
Everybody, as you know, lost power, including KREM TV, and so we had the live truck out in the driveway, jerry-rigged by the greatest engineers ever, and so we were doing our broadcast out of the newsroom, and we only had very little power.
As trees crashed under the weight of the ice, more than half of Spokane's residents, 180,000 people, were left in the dark.
It was dangerously cold. People were without power for a week to 10 days to 2 weeks. I personally was without power for almost 10 days.
An inconvenience for some, deadly for others. 4 people would die during ice storm, and damages would climb to top $22 million, making this ice storm one of the worst on record.
You know, we're pretty hardy people here in the inland Northwest. We don't roll over. At the same time, you start getting to a week, to 10 days, to 2 weeks, everybody just about cracked during that period.
Little more than a decade later, the inland Northwest would be hit with another storm of epic proportions.
We called it snowpocalypse.
In December of 2008, Tom Sherry would take to the air to report that about 2 feet of snow fell within a 24-hour period.
Here, come on over here quickly. This is Dave. Dave, I'm going to step onto your big shovel. I do remember that just from a personal point of view, the people here at work made heroic efforts to get to work because their neighborhoods were snowed in. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, you know, you've got that all-wheel drive. Well, you're just not going anywhere. Of course, schools were closed, so everybody had to make adjustments there.
Spokane police would declare streets closed, the city was shut down, and then, over the next 2 weeks, the snow just continued to come.
We broke the record, and I said, now we get to be the ones to say, remember the winter of...
Travel became nearly impossible. Roofs collapsed under the incredible weight of the snow.
They heard what sounded as a freight train, and which was a collapse, and they were able to escape.
In 2015, it wasn't snow, but wind that caused widespread damage through the inland Northwest.
We saw high winds coming, windstorm of 2015. It wasn't just branches breaking off like we've seen in previous or since windstorms. It was actual trees being uprooted.
180,000 people would lose power, and some would be in the dark for weeks. At least 375 trees fell across the city, piercing roofs and blocking roads.
Everybody is in the community here, jumping in, helping out, and clearing up.
This past summer meant guiding the inland Northwest through a legendary heat dome. Spokane would post the hottest summer on record and the hottest temperature ever recorded in the town. 109 degrees. Spokane's medical examiner would end up reporting 17 heat-related deaths.
It was extremely important in times of not severe weather to just give them good factual weather and hopefully a smile along the way and kind of be a little bit of a break from the rest of the news, which many times is you know, not pleasant. And then in times of severe weather, then be their go-to guy.
Heat, ice, snow, wind. Over the last 30-plus years, Tom has guided us through it all. It was his job, but it was also his honor.
Oh.
Very cool stuff, right?
Yeah, that was great. Thank you, Jeremy.
What a
Jeremy
look
is
back.
chief meteorologist now,
Yeah.
and he's going to be working on this shift, and couldn't have picked a better guy. There was some divine guidance or something there to bring him to KREM 2, and he has just fit right in, and you know he is great, and the viewers are going to learn that he's going to be really great.
Yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head talking about, you know, when it's normal weather, you try to give some facts and provide a smile.
Right.
That's what you did night in and night out. But when things got serious, you had the information.
You were the guy, the authority.
That's not the time for shenanigans, because we're all in it. People have to get their children to school. They got to make plans. Everybody's days are so much shorter. There's just not a lot of time, so you need to help them plan ahead, I think.
It was the perfect mix.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay, as we head to the break, we are continuing to get your messages celebrating everything that is Tom Sherry. So take a look at some of these messages. A lot of them about Turkey Drive, saying thank you, Tom, for all you did. Others just, you know, saying thank you for being you and providing a smile every night. By the way, you can send your well wishes by texting them our way. Just text them to 509-448-2000. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more.
Well, take a look at this. Of course, we are celebrating all things Tom Sherry here in our KREM 2 studio and looking back at all the ways that you have just helped us along in this community and been our friends.
Wow.
He is a handsome man, and so many reasons that we love him. And we are not the only ones who love him. We are getting so many messages right now just celebrating you, Tom, as we take a look, and so many people going to miss you and what you brought to us here on KREM 2 each and every night. So, hey, folks out there, please keep sending in those well wishes. Just text them to 509-448-2000.
Isn't it amazing people take the time to do that? I mean,
it's great.
How nice are they?
It's a testament to what you have done.
And I get to still be here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
Friday is the official last day.
You're not done yet.
Yep. But to get nice messages sent in,
I know.
right, it's just fantastic. And a testament to kind of who you are and what you've done over the years.
Well, yeah, thank you.
And by the way, you can still change your mind, Tom. You don't have to go. Is it too late
Always.
for that?
Look, I think we're set. We're set. We got a good team in place right now. But I'm definitely going to come back and fill in and do different events.
We love that.
So thank you for that.
And thank you for joining us for this special celebrating Tom Sherry.